people think about when they're considering top NA players. And of course, Tice, well, he's been a strong player for quite some time now. It's hard to believe that he's already one of the stalwarts of the scene, because I remember when he was still like an up-and-coming player that people didn't really know about. He was just winning King of the Hills.
Well, he was one of those players that actually got through all the small tournaments and got himself a space in the pro scene. He won DreamHack. He won a lot of tournaments before the DreamHack, but winning a major is a feat. And for this tournament, Tice is bringing his Warlock, Hunter, and Warrior. He decides to start with the Warlock deck against Dogs, Rogue, Warlock, and Paladin. Paladin this time. So what do you think about this matchup? Handlock? It seems like it's Handlock versus Paladin.
Yeah. It looks like it. I think the possibility that it's still a demon deck is still out there, but the most important thing is, how does Paladin be able to deal with the handlock? Is it able to just push through effortlessly through having the appropriate responses, whether it's the Elder Peacekeeper, the Silence, the Equality? I'm going to be looking at Dog to be the main playmaker in this game.
Dog is running a Stampeding Kodo, which actually is a Cleft Hoof, but still, in this matchup, might be an interesting card, especially if you combine it with Elder Peacekeeper. Overall, I think that in this matchup, it's all about Jaraxxus, because, well, you do, like, being a Paladin, you do have answers to the questions that Handlock is stating. Like, Handlock will be playing those Giants, Twilight Drakes, and then big creatures, and then Paladin has those answers. But in the end, both players will exhaust themselves with those minions and answers, and then there is Jaraxxus that starts pumping minions, and suddenly Paladin is out of options. It's also really hard to go aggressive as a Paladin, because Warlock does have the cards to clear the board. Normally, no clear board clears in Tice's hand for now, but there is the Giant.
Yeah, there's a Giant. There's also Sludge Belcher. And I know that players like Kalento sometimes differ here, because it's one of those things where, like, if you play the Giant and he has True Silver, he actually just like clears it pretty effortlessly and still has a reasonable board. And you also just gave up your turn. And you're starting to like be threatened a little bit because they're pressuring for damage. They have other things. And so sometimes they consider playing cards like the Sludge Belcher, so that way it can challenge the board a little bit better and still do effectively the same exact thing. But I think if it comes down to like the fact that you're just dropping bomb after bomb, the important thing is that you get to tap. Being able to tap and get close to that AoE, like you mentioned, Nimsh, is so big, especially considering that right now he has nothing at the moment. Just a couple of heals and a couple of big minions with taunts.
Yeah, even though he was able to draw 2 cards, still no AoE. And right now he is facing lots of damage upcoming. Paladin doesn't have much burst in his hand. He has that Master for Battle, which is a 1+ damage, but it's already, like 9 points of damage on board? So it seems like Handlock might have a chance to stabilize here. By the way, like, Handlock is such an interesting deck. I really love the concept of Handlock, and after GVG, Handlock disappeared for some time. Right now it seems it's coming back into the Conquest format. People come back and then trust, the trust into the deck got restored. What do you think is the reason? Is it just, is it because Big Game Hunter is not that effective anymore, or?
That's a really good question. I think Big Game Hunter has been one of the biggest reasons Handlock fell out in the first place, because everyone was running Dr. Boom. Therefore, you felt like you had to run Big Game Hunter, and Handlock suffered. Versus before, it was like, Big Game Hunter was always optional, so you had these win percentages that increased a lot. Personally, I think it takes a little bit of innovation and refining. I really like the Demon Handlock nowadays, just because it plays really well around Big Game Hunter. Not to mention that it's also really strong at like addressing the board, handling Mech Mage, being able to be really competitive. So I have to just say that people just innovated and got comfortable, and it just cycled through where like Handlock can really punish Rogue, and Rogue got really greedy in how it was trying to handle things. It stopped running Sabotage. It doesn't really deal well with big threats again. So when Rogue becomes popular, I think Handlock was really like, oh yeah, I can squeeze that in.
Yeah, it's definitely a good reason. And also the Demon Lock that you mentioned. This is the build with Void Callers and Mulganis, Jaraxxus. No Doomguards, right? Or do they show up sometimes.
I think people started playing Dread Infernals instead, just because it's more consistent if you have to play from the hand. You know, Demon Lock, you don't want to throw away like your Shadow Flame if you have Doomguard in hand. So people felt like you wanted to have more consistency. Tystrauss is big game hunter. You know, speaking of consistency, he doesn't really have. You know, he has a tech card here, but as a result, it's not useful at the moment. And he's potentially looking at death on his end, right? It would be really easy for his opponent to just trade in, play quartermaster, and then push through for the win. So it's a pretty scary spot to be in if you're Dice.
Yeah, definitely it's a very weird spot here. Even with a True Silver, even like right now he's dead on board. If he kills the 1/2, then he's one damage of lethal. But he might need to take his chances here. Just playing Lothep, stopping any spells from being played, like playing around a bit around the equality, possibly. But then equality can still be casted for 7.
Right. Equality can be casted for 7. Man, if he could play everything, right? Quality Consecration. Would that have been game for?
Yeah, with equality consecration,
yeah.
that's game.
Would have been pretty nuts.
Well, still equality, even if played for free here, is a nice card. But then if you go lower, you still have to think about those Molten Giants. So it's all about like how much damage you want to deal in before the Molten Giants are being dropped. And at the back of Doc's head, he's still thinking about the AoE cards like Shadow Flame or a possible Hellfire.
Yeah, the problem is that if you don't play equality, then you're just giving up your board effectively, and still he could draw into some AoE that could destroy you in everything you're trying to do. Especially if he draws Hellfire and then he drops 2 Giants and taunts them up again. So I like equality because it keeps up the pressure. He's already shown that he has a hard time dealing with this, so you might as well continue to pressure and see what he's got.
He also has that consecration, so. Oh, there's a Hellfire. But then
yeah,
there just a minion.
He heals from the zombie chow, so Hellfire effectively gains him 2 health.
Yeah, it's not actually not bad. There is a minion from the Sludge Belcher, from the Pilot Shredder. So you definitely want to play Molten Giant this turn. So what's the sequence?
Well,
you're 1 mana off.
Let me think.
1 mana off the most amazing play with heal bots. You basically need to survive you need to survive next turn. If you do survive next turn, you do have the heal bot, and then you slowly. Oh, the 2/1 is not really great for Dog there.
Yeah, if it was, you know, I guess Mana Wraith would have been really problematic, but or you know, Doomsayer. Other than that, though, not really too much going on.
Weblord will be lethal as well, almost lethal, because then Defender of Argus could not be played.
Yeah, good point. You know, the 2 heal bots will be really significant. I wasn't really considering too much about those heal bots originally because, you know, they're not the most flashy cards, but that's so big if he picks up Shadow Flame. Okay, you didn't get it, but the heal bot like Shadow Flame play would have been absolutely bonkers.
Well, even without Shadow Flame, Healbot is still a fantastic card to play. Just a free minion that puts you up to 16. As we've mentioned, Paladin doesn't have Burst. Even with Quartermaster, you should not have a lethal situation there with this Molten Giant being taunted. Because Dog will have to go through... If you play a Healbot, then you are going up to 16, and then you have 7 health from the taunt. It's 23 points of health is not something that Paladin can simply pull off in 1 turn.
Yeah, that's a good point. What's the best way to deal with this then? Are you afraid of Quartermaster trades? Then it makes it pretty easy. Are you afraid of Lotheb potentially? Like if he picks a big game hunter and Lotheb just pushes in for the win.
It's all about like what do you really want to play, because if he goes for like if he wants to Dr. Boom to set up a good situation, then he has to trade with Lotheb. If he plays a heal bot, he can potentially go for face. Juggler is not that great right now because Double Master was already used. Was
Well, Consecration helps him clear most of this, other than Doctor Boom. And I would assume you want to do it before you drop anything else. So let's see how the boom bots end up rolling. If it does a lot of damage to the face. Wow,
that's
7 out of 8.
Face. Whoa, 7.
That's really scary.
Oh, there is a heal bot for Dog as well. But then Dog is out of cards. He is out of steam.
Yeah. And he only has like pair of 5 drops, which have a medium impact, not the biggest impact.
Oh, wow. Molten Giant is a perfect card because Tice is probably going to play double heal bot.
Molten Giant double heal bot.
Yeah.
Or, let's see. Molten Giant. Is there a better way to deal with this?
How much damage is there with the Quartermaster pickup?
Yeah, that'd be 9 damage. 12, 13.
It's still not enough. With double heal bot, Tice is actually escaping range and setting up a board that's really easy to get lethal with.
Wow. So how does he deal with this? I don't think he runs 2 equalities. True Silver Champion.
Well, getting a Quartermaster will be amazing. With True Silver Champion, he can't really deal with the Molten Giant, so I think he's dead. Yeah, well, if he plays anti-Killbot, then he goes to 16, so maybe he can buy himself another turn.
Okay. Yeah, it allows him to trade into Dr. Boom, so he barely stays alive, right? Or is he still dead?
Yeah, he is. He has to attack face with True Silver, then he will survive. Because it's like, wait, it's 6, 14. No, he's good.
Yeah, why don't you just kill off one of the anti-kill bots? I guess. Yeah, because if he plays Jiraxis, then you really lock yourself out. I don't think there's a point to hitting the face. I think you want to definitely kill off a minion here.
Yeah.
Oh, the trades are so painful, though. Man.
That's why Handlock is such a cool deck still. Because it drops low, but can really pull himself out. With Dark Bomb.
Wow. He 1 damage off lethal.
That was so close. If he wouldn't kill the anti-kill bot, that would be over.
Yeah. Well, actually, he would have been the same, I think. Because he would have attacked the face, right? Oh, you're saying if he didn't attack with the True Silver, he just held it.
Yeah.
Very tough, though. Unless there's, like, lay on hands into equality. That would be nuts.
That would be the most amazing play. There is Dr. GG, but that's GG for Tice for the first game of this match. Tice versus Dog.
Yeah, dude. Paladin drops the game. I was not anticipating the game ending up like this. Very good comeback from Tice to secure the win here. And Dog drops the first game of the set. Not what he wanted at all, because I know that Paladin was supposed to have the edge here over Handlock, but it's still a pretty tight matchup. It's not like Paladin's the overwhelming favorite.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's all about like the answers and questions that the players do, and also the power of anti-heal bots and Handlock got really stressed in this game. How you can come back and heal 16 points of health from nowhere almost, because Dog was really close to killing Tice, and if not for the heal bots, that would be over. And the fact that Dog didn't get the Quartermaster when he needed it, also like Quartermaster giving +6 to those minions, +2 to like 3 minions or maybe 4, that was important. But well played by both players.
Yeah, absolutely. And now that I start off 0-1, it's like it's a pretty big deal. The more I watch Conquest, the more I find out the importance of being able to win first, so that way you can put your opponent in an uncomfortable 50-50. And from here, I think Dog's, I guess if he was playing Rogue, then having Handlock like out of the way is sometimes good, so that way you don't have to worry about it like being targeted. It depends though on how the lineups actually are pairing up here, so we'll find out in just a sec.
I certainly agree, by the way. Getting Handlock out of the way is good. Dog is running Rogue, Warlock, and Paladin. So Paladin was his best chance to win versus Handlock, but then we're going to see Handlock. Oh, it's like Demon Lock. What is it? What is this?
Yeah, it's a demon handlock, right? Oh, wait, what? Echoing Ooze?
Echoing Goose. It's like it's
What?
Zoo. No, it's a Handlock. Wait, it's a Demon Lock. Dog combined 3 Warlock archetypes and created a Dog Lock.
Hold on. What are horses? It definitely has to be handlock. You wouldn't have mountain giants otherwise. 2 molten giants against
Whoa.
Hunter.
Against Face Hunter.
What is the Echoing Ooze? Does it replace like the Ancient Watcher? Just straight up like, I'd rather have that and then Defender of Argus it? Maybe.
Well, I just want to say that Dog is also one of the underrated deck builders. Dog is behind a lot of archetypes that go through ladder, and people don't really know it. He was one of the guys who really improved on Rogue after GVG, and he was building very interesting druids as well. So just playing unconventional cards in conventional decks is something that you can definitely do.
This Echoing Ooze is so big. Took 4 life. Hold on, I'll be right back 1 sec.
All right, so having those Molten Giants versus Face Hunter is definitely interesting, but he will need to pick up something like its Haunts. For Thais, wait, this is a Hobgoblin deck. What? Dog, what are you playing? What is this deck? Is like I'm thinking like Sixto was playing kind of like a Hobgoblin deck, but this is something new. For Thais, being a Face Hunter, he has a Leper Gnome, so he's looking good. But other than that, he has those Animal Companions, so it's cool. No taunts for Dog for now, so... And looking at that Hobgoblin, he should be happy about it. The question is, I think, yeah, you do have to trade with Wolf Rider. Even though Face Hunter would love to go for face and deal face damage, especially versus Warlock, you need to deal with a Hobgoblin, because Dog's hand can be like 2 Wisps. Well, maybe not Wisps, because they're for 0, but then another Echoing Ooze and stuff that can get buffed. And as a Face Hunter, you won't be able to deal with that, and you will be getting behind. So that's why the trade with the Wolf Rider.
All right. Sorry about that, Nimsh.
No problem.
There's a mysterious man at the door. So looks like he was able to build the board a little bit here. The Hobgoblin, what?
Yeah.
All right.
This is... One Hobgoblin was already killed.
Okay, so it makes sense with the Echoing Ooze. But what else is in this deck that usually runs 1 attack?
Well, for now, Hobgoblin was able to tank 3 points of damage.
I am so baffled right now.
Doug is trying to confuse his opponents. He actually combined 4 archetypes. So he's playing as Zoo, Hobgoblin, Demon Lock.
I mean, I guess it's one way to call it. You're just basically naming cards that you normally see. It's I guess it's just a tempo Warlock deck based off Hobgoblin, and it's got heal bot, so and taunts and Molten Giant, so maybe it's really good. Maybe it's just an anti-aggro Hunter. No, it can't be, because Hobgoblin grabs you amazing tempo on the board, and it's not necessarily a control deck. I don't know. This is pretty weird. I guess people are saying that they've heard of this deck before. They've seen it playing on stream, but this is the first time I've seen it in tournament play. So this is a really cool deck.
I would love to see an AMA from Dog about this deck, but for now he positioned himself in a really well with double Molten Giant and that Sunfury Protector. That was such an important card, by the way, because being Thais, I would never expect Molten Giant. Like I've seen Echoing Ooze, I've seen Hobgoblin, and I'm looking at this Void Caller, and I'm baffled. I'm like, okay, what is this deck? I would not expect Molten Giants. So can Thais take it on the back of his Leper Gnome, dealing the last 2 points of damage?
Yeah, I don't know. This hand looks absolutely insane, unless there's Unleash the Hounds, right? Unleash the Hounds would make it so strong. You're talking about. So yeah, I really like that he's holding off too, making sure that he has really good tempo play. If he puts out Void Caller into another Void Caller, it doesn't really do too much, I guess. It does a little bit of damage on board.
Yeah, but Thijs still has ways to deal with those Molten Giants. He hits one Molten Giant twice. That's actually... No,
Yeah,
wait. He hit
reasonable.
the Sun Fury.
Ah, he did it twice.
Oh, yeah, now it's
The
twice.
prophecy came true.
Yeah, seeing the future as always.
Still a little clunky, though. He was able to hit another giant one time. It would have been perfect.
Yeah.
But as a result, looks like he has to give up a lot. Leok being a big player here, though, for sure. Man, Leok was so huge.
Still, he is in a good shape. Like, he has the board, and he didn't take any damage. And in the face Hunter, every card you draw, more or less, is a card to deal damage. It's like, if you get your opponent low enough.
Wow. Oh, Dog is really upset about that. It's the juggles directly onto the Molten Giants. That was so painful, because now he can keep Leok. Yep. Shadow Flame or bust. And it's an Azure Drake instead.
Even with that heal bot. He doesn't even get a demon here. Well, he can get the Void Caller.
Yeah, he gets another Void Caller. But there's so many high priority targets. You want to kill off the Knife Juggler. You want to kill off the Leok. You definitely want to kill off the Arcane Golem.
Well, you need to kill everything, because if a single spider is left on board, you're dead. Unless you play that heal bot. Then
Yeah, you play heal bot and Hobgoblin, right?
Then you get back to like 13, and there is 4 damage incoming, so you have 9. Still really close.
No, you have at least 8 damage coming in. No, 10. You're gonna be I mean, he's gonna be on kill command to win or draws, or even more, because the Leopard Gnome does damage too. There's so much damage on board.
And also top decks from Thijs. Like, most of the cards he can draw, they do damage. They have charge. There are kill commands. There are weapons. Another Leopard Gnome. So a lot of cards that can deal damage. A lot of outs to just finish the game with the next card draw. And also the question is, how do you... Oh, Snake Trap is one of the worst cards?
Yeah, that doesn't really do too much. Although...
It's not terrible. With
yeah,
the
there's
board.
Knife Juggler, but it's not game-ending damage.
The question is, can Dog win from this position? He has 8 points of damage. Not really.
Shadow Flame. Oh, he got Shadow Flame.
That's a Shadow Flame. Wow.
He has to test with the trap first. Oh, I guess he doesn't have to, because if he attacks the face, then Snake Trap won't activate.
But he's still dead,
better
because
that
there is a
way.
Leopard Gnome.
Oh, he has to tap. He has to get Farseer. It has to be... yeah.
Well, he was dead to Leopard Gnome and Hero Power, so he was dead on board.
Yeah, he understands. So, Dog, well, I guess the Snake Trap mind gamed him, but in the end, it didn't really matter. He was in a really tough spot, because Leopard Gnome's Death Rattle doing 2 extra damage was going to destroy him anyways. So that wraps up game 2. Tides up 2-0 very quickly. And the Face Hunter against that weird demon deck, or I don't know, I guess Dog Lock.
Let's call it Dog Lock.
And, Tice was able to win Handlock versus Paladin. Now it's just Warrior, in which case Dog can play all the cards he wants or all the decks he wants, but in the end, Rogue has to defeat Warrior, which is really tough to do.
It's still doable. It was a really bad matchup before. Right now, it's okay. I think the worst possible percentage is like 60 to 40 for Warrior. If Warrior plays Bomb Lobbers, which are fantastic versus Rogue, they deal with like whatever you can play mostly. But then if you are playing Edwin, if you're able to develop an early Edwin, I've seen Rogue win a lot of times versus Warrior. But still, we might see more of the Doglog being played, and I think Doglog might be actually interesting versus Warrior, with the Void Callers, the Fraddles, Giants. Handlock was originally very, very good versus Warrior because of the Giants and big creatures. Paladin versus Warrior is also good. So yeah, the clutch match is Rogue versus Warrior. If you can win that, you win the match. But I would not take Rogue first. I would just I think I would take Paladin.
Yeah, I think Paladin's your best bet. Followed by the Warlock, followed by the Rogue. If that's the case,
Yeah.
might as well sometimes just start with like the Warlock because if that's the way to go, at least you do it cool. Twilight Drake is still somewhat problematic as well. Now that I look at it, so having that in the opening hand is excellent. And he still has Mountain Giants, right? So he might be able to get to the point where he threatens. He threatens to just like win sometimes if Warrior doesn't have the right removal pieces.
Yeah, but we can see that Thais actually got like a lot of good cards. Versus Handlock, you want to have Execute, so he has Execute for something big. He has also answers for the small stuff like Voidwalkers and Mistress of Pain. Getting the Armor Smith early is nice as well for Thais. For Dog, well, I'll be damned. I don't know if the hand is good. I guess he needs a Hobgoblin because he got a lot of small stuff this time.
Yeah, I think it's fine. Twilight Drake will draw the Execute. And, he still has a lot of room to breathe. He can still tap as much as you want. That's part of the reason why this matchup is okay sometimes for the handlock because they can feel free to tap early on. Warrior's not going to be the ones like aggroing them from turns 1 to 5 compared to some other classes, which definitely can do that. Shaman, Paladin, etc.
Yeah, but it's still a very interesting hand for Dog where he didn't get the Mountain Giant this time. He got all the small stuff about Hobgoblin. So he might be able to play a lot of minions, but then he has to be mindful of Brawl. By the way, Thais is the Bomb Lobber, so his matchup against Rogue, if we get there, really improves.
That's a good point. How?
Wow, that's a really weird hand for Dog.
Yeah, it's still really clunky, especially because Armor Smith's right there, so it just continues to get pressured. The Fiery War Axe plus the Armor Smith contests every single thing out there, but you have to play something.
I guess you can go for
how useful is Mistress of Pain or Voidwalker in this matchup? Would you feel comfortable tossing either or both?
I will be fine playing Voidwalker and Ooze, I guess, to have something on board, not only one minion. But then he has to play something to not burn a card, right? 3, 6, 9, 10, yeah.
Yeah, it's true. I have no idea.
It's very interesting to see a new deck, and it's actually crazy because we've seen Reynad bringing the combo Warrior before, and now we experience this Doglog being brought. It's like, guys, the new adventure mode is getting released today. Why are you innovating on the last day?
Yeah.
Seriously.
It's like, well, what's really funny would be like if this deck is missing like 1 or 2 cards. Like, for example, I don't know how to say his name is Taurasian. Like, the one that makes everything cost a little bit less.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't Handlock love that card? I guess every deck would love it, but Handlock's notorious for having a lot of hands in their cards. So if everything costs 1 cheaper, it's just absolutely absurd if you get to play Sun Fury for 1 mana. With Shadow Flame for 3. It's like, that's crazy.
Look at this hand. Like if he plays Thorazian, I guess, on turns. It's a turn 6 card, right? He's a
Jiraxis
5/5
is
6.
8. You can actually Jiraxis hero power more consistently for sure.
It changes the whole dynamic of the game for the
Yeah, it does.
I'm definitely looking forward to that card, Emperor being dropped. All right.
Well, second Execute almost certainly. Well, actually, he can use the Death Spite as well. Huh. Actually, there's a couple of ways you can play this.
So, Bomb Lobber and trade minions is one way. If you want to keep Execute for something bigger, like the Giants, do you really have to deal with this Twilight Drake? You can also go for Face and try to bait the Molten Giants for the Brawl. That's one of the ways to deal with the Handlock as well, like Handlock-ish deck, because we're facing Doglock here. You just force the Giants for the Brawl.
Yeah, fair enough. I think there could be a case if you had Grommash in hand to develop the Death Bite this turn, but since you don't, it can definitely sit on the sideline because you have no guarantee that you'll be drawing it next turn.
Dog still in an awkward spot with no
Yeah.
Hobgoblin.
I mean, he's got two Void Walkers and like he's got a lot of ways to defend against aggro. That's why I was convinced that this is an anti-aggro deck originally, because he's got heals, a lot of small little minions, Molten Giants.
Oh wow, there's a Gramash top deck. Well, with Dog on the first side, it looks like he actually clicked randomly fill my deck, please, and then queued with Warlock.
An autofill deck.
Yeah,
That's pretty insulting, man. I don't
I'm
think
just kidding. Like, he is a good deck builder.
Jeez. Okay, so now that he has Grommash in hand, you just start pressuring a little bit, right? You've got Execute, so you can execute and play Grommash next turn. You even have coins, so if you pick up Whirlwind or something, you'll be in a decent spot.
How much damage is there? If there are no Molten Giants, you just take it. If there are Molten Giants, Harrison is nice as well.
Okay.
With 16 health as well, it's not easy to play those Molten Giants. So
no, it's a very good move from Tice. Very good move.
4-9. This it's actually 23 points of damage.
Yeah, but there's ways for dogs to survive. He's got the like Lotheb plus 2 Void Walkers, and he can even try to see how it lines up, and if he has enough health remaining, he can sneak in a tap. I don't think so.
With double Void Walkers, he's dead. Because then Dog can attack Void Walkers with the weapon and a Bomb Lobber and deal exactly 16.
You're right.
So he has Sun Fury Protector. That's one of the things. If he goes for Siphon Soul and Void Walkers, doesn't like. Do you really want to play those Void Walkers? Do you feel like you're dead next turn?
Yeah, Siphon Soul Void Walkers. Huh? Is that the way he survives here?
If he goes for Lotheb and Sun Fury Protector, that's 7 points of mana. He
can't. He would Siphon Soul and drop Void Walkers, right? Just to make sure he doesn't die. The nice thing is that the Bomb Lobber gets challenged by the 1-attack minion because of the Death Bite Whirlwind effect.
The problem with dropping Void Walkers here is that if you get Hobgoblin, then you don't have any 1-attack minions. So you basically deny the Hobgoblin value. The 19 points of health is... Wait, it's 7, 8, so Tice is 1 off.
It's 1 exactly, because he knows his opponent can't play Cruel Taskmaster and Grommash because he just used a coin, so it's very meticulous calculation. No dropping of the Void Walker. Is it because he wants to do Jiraxis and Void Walker next turn? Is it because he wants to drop Mal'Ganis and the Void Walker? It's a lot. It's a lot to answer.
Yeah, those Void Walkers are precious, so you don't want to really waste them on just a minion attack. It's a really smart move from Dog, like calculating damage and just positioning himself to survive a couple more turns. He's basically saying, "Yeah, just pull the trigger, dude."
One more turn if it goes right. You know, and Tice is still has removal, right? He has Brawl and he executes.
The Brawl is so huge.
Attacks and withholds. All right, reasonable.
What does it tell Dog? Like, what does it say? The Tice just armored up and passed. It's like, hey, I have 4 cards that are good removal cards in my hand. No minions.
Well, this gives room for Dog to tap Double Giant and Taunt. So if you tap, it goes down. Wait, does he have 10 cards already though?
Yeah, he has some cards.
Oh, it's so funny. He would have to burn a card in order to do it.
Burn Hobgoblin. That would be the funnest thing ever.
Yeah.
You got the Hubot though. Hubot is important. He might escape the range. Also, if there is a Brawl and one of the Molten Giants survives, that would be huge.
It might be his best course of action. I'm trying to look at an alternative with, Lotheb or Healbot, but it all makes your follow-up plays weaker.
Oh, he
burns a Hobgoblin.
Please.
I mean, I guess Voidwalker gets a lot weaker, so that way you can't make it a 3/5. But that was definitely one of the best burns because he's got a lot of powerful cards to try to climb back.
All right, do just yellow bro, and then Whirlwinds execute if one of the bad dudes survives. I think that's the play.
Yeah, this is definitely a brawl turn, and hope that Kit Kats didn't lie.
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, well, or is he never lucky? Which meme will win? Nimsh. Let's find out.
Never lucky. Rubber ducky.
No, Kit Kats did not lie.
Kit Kats didn't lie. Seriously.
Very nice.
Wow. For 5 mana, he dealt with double 8/8 and a 2/3, and he saved his 1/4, and he even attacked for 1. That's pretty sick. Look at Dog's face. Dog looks like he's going to bite.
He looks like one sad puppy.
He's mad.
I think he's more frustrated than anything. It's just part of the game. But that Armor Smith, wow. Gosh, so clutch right now. Jeez. I think brawls today, the brawls today have been absolutely nuts.
It's 12. That's exact lethal. 20 points of damage. And with this, Thijs is going to take the match versus Dog versus his very interesting Dog Lock deck.
Yeah, Dog's gonna go home the loser today. But you know what? There's definitely something here. I'm anticipating Black Rock Mountain to maybe help refine it even more. And I love it. I love it, Nimsh. I love that they're really trying to innovate. Props to Dog for trying. He's not out of the competition. Thijs does take the series and advances a little bit higher into the standings. But overall, we'll be able to see Dog in a future week as well. So well played, and that wraps up our second series.
Yeah, that was a pretty good match, and hopefully we'll see more of interesting decks from Dog and also Thijs. But I think we're ready to go for a short break. So guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon.